I just put up the few Valentine's decorations that I do have, and it always gets me into the red and pink spirit. Anything red and pink is basically what I'm calling as my Valentine's Day inspired hobbies. So to kick it off, I bought myself a dozen red roses. Honestly, I don't think I've ever bought myself a dozen roses before. I don't know why. I want to say it's because of the thorns, and I don't love working with thorns. Yeah, I want to say that's the reason, but also because I feel like sometimes they don't last that long, but I think it can last 2 weeks, I think. So I'm going to do a little arrangement, and I also just got a little bit of greenery. I didn't go too crazy. I know baby's breath is also a great thing to add, but for some reason I just didn't want the white. I wanted more just the red mainly. So I got that, and I might end up having to use another vase as well to have 2 little arrangements. I have seen that sometimes adding bleach to the water will help the roses. I don't know if it's roses or just flowers in general last longer, but I am just going to wing it and do what I usually do, and that is just use some flower food and water. Yeah, it's definitely the thorns that hold me back from roses. I feel like I'm working with weapons. I could cut off all the thorns, but I just don't want to spend my time doing that. I actually want to try this trick that I saw. So you basically peel back. Well, okay. This first one I've done before, which is put the rose through your finger, through your hands, and do that. I don't know if it opened it up much. And then bend back the outside petals. I don't know if that did that much. Okay, this is before I spin it. This is after. I'm struggling to see if there's a difference. Though I have noticed that with roses, because I did do my friend's rehearsal dinner flower arrangements, is that they look better the next day. So they looked better on her wedding day than on the rehearsal day, because the roses, I think, just tend to open up after a little bit of time, which looks really nice. So I think I actually want to try something that I've never done before. And I bought tape specifically for this. Well, I thought I did, and it ended up just being tape to make a boutonniere or a bouquet, and that was not what I was trying to do. So I'm gonna try to make my own little, it's not a flower frog, but something similar-ish. But honestly, I think this vase top might just be too small and I won't have enough room to put the flowers in. Okay, so with the tape, I totally misjudged how many flowers I could fit in here. And so I definitely will not be making a second arrangement. I'm so happy with this arrangement. I'm so glad I just ended up doing greenery and roses. So I think it will look so pretty right here. And it's kind of got a shape, like an oblong shape-ish going on, and that's what I was wanting, something different. I didn't just want stick all straight across. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. And for it to be here, this is my favorite little combo. I'm so happy with this. I just love flowers in a candlestick. It makes me so happy. And I love it on my island that it's a little bit more simple over here. I'm so happy with it. It's gonna bring me so much joy these next 2 weeks. Hopefully they'll last that long, but I'm optimistic. And you know what? Since I have this going, the candle, and then I have these beautiful roses now to look at, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do some baking, because for some reason, I don't know why, but I always associate some type of baked good with Valentine's Day. Typically, I know going around is like the heart cakes, and I think those are so pretty, but I am going to be making some double chocolate chip muffins. Double chocolate chip muffins, I think is what they are. And so it's gonna be chocolate protein powder, which I've never actually made protein muffins before, so this should be interesting. But that and chocolate chips in it, because can't go wrong with adding chocolate chips. So I'm gonna do that and enjoy these beautiful roses and the candle in here while I bake. I printed off my recipe and I've got the oven baking. I don't have any super festive muffin sleeves, but I think these gray ones will do well, and maybe these gray and the purple. It says that it only makes 10 muffins, so I'm just gonna put 10 sleeves in. I'm making my own oat flour. I can't stop looking at the flowers, they just make me so happy. I'm going to be sewing an apron in a sewing class, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to put one on so I don't have to worry about getting any food in my clothes. I mean, I haven't worn one pretty much ever, but I still just think it'd be fun to wear one, so I'm really excited to make my own. I definitely was not expecting chia seeds to be in a muffin recipe, but I'm all for the extra fiber. This is where the recipe gets a little dicey because it calls for a ½ teaspoon liquid stevia, and I do not have that. So I'm just going to use maple syrup, and I know that can affect because it's gonna be heavier, I feel like it can affect the rise because I'm gonna have to put more maple syrup in it than liquid stevia would require, because it's only requiring ½ teaspoon. And I think I'm gonna put a full tablespoon. I might even have to drizzle some maple syrup on top of the muffin after it's done if it's not sweet enough for me. I definitely should have read the recipe completely through, because now I have to leave it in the fridge for 30 minutes, and I was not expecting that. But I guess in the meantime, while that is in the fridge, I can clean up and then I can work on my next little Valentine's Day inspired hobby. I'll see ya over in the living room. So I realized right as I was cleaning up that I forgot to put the chocolate chips into the batter. And so I pulled that back out and folded in my chocolate chips. Can't believe I almost missed that step. That's a crucial one. Okay, and so now for this little hobby, it is knitting with pink yarn. That's what makes it Valentine's Day inspired, obviously. So I am typically, well, in the past I've crocheted the most. Now in terms of knitting, I've tried knitting one time, and this is exactly how far I made it. Not much of anything, honestly. So I'm hoping I'm gonna make it farther this time and knit me a pair of socks. So I know this probably isn't the best yarn. My mom and I kept doing all this research on it, and I was wanting nylon with the wool, but this one is acrylic with the wool. The reason I chose this one is because I already had a 7 needles. So I was just trying to find yarn to match it because I didn't want to have to go and buy more needles. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow along on a video on YouTube that I found and see how that goes. So it's just going to be me sitting in silence, probably trying to do this, or at least me having the video playing. I'm not really going to be talking unless I struggle so much. Step 1 of me struggling is finding the end of this yarn, but I think I found it. Yes, okay, cool. And now I'm gonna get to it. The 30-minute timer already beeped for the dough, and so I'm gonna go ahead, well, I don't know if it's dough, for the batter. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pour the batter into the muffin tins, but I've gotten literally nowhere with this so far. I'm having to teach myself the basics because they said that I need to know how to knit stitch and purl stitch, and so I'm trying to learn those. And then once I found those videos, I ended up realizing I don't even know how to start the stitch, so I had to start it first because I couldn't remember how to do that. This is gonna be a long process, but hopefully once I get the hang of socks, I can knit them pretty fast. They say they take about like 2 days, give or take, and I don't know how much time that is, and so that would probably take me like 2 weeks, but I would just love to make my own socks instead of buying them, and I just think it would be that much more special. And so anyways, I'm gonna go do the muffins because I know at least I'll make progress on that, but I am excited and this yarn makes it that much more fun because it's so pretty. Wow, the batter has hardened a lot, which is good. Just going to scoop them in here. I think I'm gonna get 12 muffins out of this, so I'm gonna grab more sleeves. I'm gonna have to show you guys this because I'm so happy with it. I did a little decoration on it. I put love onto the lines and I tried to do a heart, but I'm sure you can't even tell which one it was. Here it is. There's L-O-V-E, L-O-V-E. That one was supposed to be the heart, but it kind of got messed up. Oh well, and then I still have extra batter left, but I think I'm just gonna eat it because I think all the ingredients are edible without being cooked. I don't know about baking powder, but it's okay, I guess. They look nice and fudgy, but I think they're done and they look pretty good. Oh my goodness. The L-O-V-E, the O is massive. It kind of looks cool though. Here is the L-O. Look, it went all the way to the outside. V-E, and then up here, L-O-V-E. Yeah. That one honestly looks more like a heart now than it did before. Okay, so these looked so good when they came out of the oven, and now they just went totally flat. These are for sure extremely moist. I mean, they're literally falling apart as I'm bringing it or opening it up, and so it'd probably be best if I would wait for them to cool. But I'm still gonna try a bite anyways. They are very banana-y, and I definitely taste the oats, but honestly, this isn't a bad thing. I'm gonna have these for breakfast anyways, and so I also think they are sweet enough how I did it. So I just did 1 tablespoon of maple syrup instead of the half a teaspoon stevia. And so obviously liquid stevia. So obviously that could have played a role in how flat they got, but I know sometimes muffins aren't super fluffy, but that's just how I'm used to seeing them, how my mom used to make them. I think I also have to store these in the fridge. So I'll store these in the fridge. Not sure how long they'll last, but hopefully they'll be fine for 12 days. I officially finished the initial part. It's called the cast on, I think. And so I finished that. I hope it's not too tight. Like she said not to have it too tight, but mine kind of feels tight. So we'll see. I tried to do it loose. But again, this is my first time, so as long as it gets over my foot, I'm happy. And this is definitely not going to be a video of me finishing this sock because, like I said, that'll probably take me minimum 2 weeks. We could probably double that. That's how long all of my yarn projects, honestly all my hobbies, because I just do different ones all the time. I finished one little section and now I am going to be moving on to the last and final Valentine's inspired hobby. And like I said, the theme is the color pretty much. So I'm going to show you what my next one is. And it's pretty much solely based off of color. And that hobby is reading with my pink Kindle. So I just have a lot of pink and red going on. And the book I'm reading is The Cyclist Guide to Crime and Croissants. So definitely not necessarily Valentine's inspired, but reading on my pink Kindle is. So I'm gonna do some reading, but I also wanna show you, if you saw my Christmas DIY gifts, I am reading a hardback book too, or a paper copy, and this is my bookmark. And this also, I originally made it for Christmas, but it totally works for Valentine's. And maybe I should just keep it in my Kindle for the fun of it. No, it does not close that well, but it's still so pretty and I love it so much. And this is actually a yarn project that I finished in a day, and it took me not even that long. I want to say less than an hour, max an hour, but it was a really fast project, and I need to remember this for next year for Christmas so that I can make more of these for my book loving friends. I'm gonna go ahead and read probably most of the rest of this night. I hope you guys also have a little bit of fun with some Valentine's Day inspired hobbies and also come up with some of your own, even if they're just red or pink. And then just looking over at my flowers makes me so happy, and with the candlestick and this candlestick and my DIY candle that I made also when I made that bookmark, it just makes me so happy. And so I'm just going to enjoying these. Okay, well I can't stare at it forever. I'm gonna read too and have it in the background for the rest of the night.